is to share a little bit of what we at LV have learned in the past few years, working with so many schools and universities around the world. So I really would like you to take some very practical tips to put into action basically as soon as we finish this webinar, right? So you will of course get a copy of this presentation, as we said, is recorded. So don't worry too much about taking notes, just relax, have a listen. It's a lot to cover in 30, 40 minutes to allow some time at the end for questions. So I'll be fast to the point, and then we have this chance of a quick chat at the end as well. But if we run out of time, if you don't have the chance to clarify what you need, don't worry, simply get in touch with us later, and we can schedule a call to talk specifically about your needs, what your school needs, and how we at LV can help you. So we'll talk about some survival tips, what we can do. So we look at our social media feeds and they are not empty, or if they are not empty, they are not full of things that people are not actually engaging with, right? So we'll start having a look at some social media feeds here. So I'm sure this is all what we want, right? Social media feeds full of posts that look really nice. They have brand assets like images, videos, people really engage with. We can see there users liking, commenting, sharing things. It looks like the perfect word. Now, we know that the reality of a lot of language schools is very different, right? Very often it's that frustration that we don't know what to post. And when we do decide to post something, basically, it doesn't work. So it's almost like our social media channels, they become our enemies, right? That enemy that does take a lot of our time. And when we do decide to use a little bit of that time to invest on it, it generates barely any results. We'll try to change this a little bit today. But before, at the beginning, we saw some very nice social media feeds, right? I think it was Wendy's, BMW, and Nike there. But it's important to understand that we don't need to invest hundreds of thousands in creating, really professional videos or brand images. If we look at this Instagram feed from Domino's, for example, it's simple pizza images taken using a mobile phone, right? That's it. So what's really important here is that your content should reach the right audience and achieve your goals. So it's about being it's about being authentic and not having to worry too much about how professional it looks, right? At the end of the day, we've seen so many homemade type of videos that went viral. If we look at influencers, for example, the amount of content they do as a selfie, sometimes from their toilet, from their bedroom, and it works. So it's about being new, it's about being authentic, and let's not worry too much about having a Hollywood style video, right? So here's what we're going to cover today. We'll start with some content ideas. As we saw, this is one of the most difficult things coming up with the actual ideas. What we post, how often. We'll also cover how to use a bit of past content. That helps a lot. Then very quickly, we'll cover some social media tools that basically can help you do everything in a much easier, quicker, better way. And finally, how much you should spend on social media, right? And how do you analyze those results? How we see our return on investment when we do put a little bit money on it. And even if we don't put money, right? If we just invest time in creating content, how do we analyze if what we're putting there is working? So let's start with the content ideas. Now, you may have reduced staff levels. Maybe that person that was managing your social media has been furloughed because of the situation we are now, and you have to deal with it, right? So what do you publish on your social media? Now, we're going to have some tips and some stuff here that is, you know, about the quarantine, the pandemic, the times we're going through now. But a lot of stuff here, it's something that you can constantly refer back to, right? To give you some insights, to help you on basically that creative process of planning your social media content. So let's start with this one, right? A calendar. Now, don't leave to decide on the day that you need to post something about what you were going to post. You're just going to spend a lot of time trying to think about a topic, trying to think about your content, right? It's almost like a blank canvas, isn't it? That you start and you don't know what to write, you don't know what to do, right? So if there's one thing that you need to remember from this webinar, or at least from this content section, build a content calendar for your social media. This is key. This is what's going to make life a lot easier when coming up with the content you were going to post. And one important tip here, when you do build this calendar, think about themes. It will help you a lot. So you can use the ideas we're going to cover today, right, as a theme for certain days of the week. So for example, if every Monday you share a local area tip on your social media, it will be a lot easier to come up with the content for every Monday because we have a theme, which is a local area tip. So start with this. Now, tutorials and how-tos, right, is the number one type of video watched on YouTube. Now, we know that as a school, you can obviously teach your audience on how to speak English, right? We see a lot of schools doing English tips, phrasal verbs, so many other things, right? But what else? What other things can you teach your audience? One of the key things on what schools do, right, is also the cultural and the travel experience. So if you're a school in Devon, for example, why not show your audience on how to make something very English, like what we see there in the picture, you know, scones and clotted cream. Now, this could be a theme, right, as well, as we saw on the calendar. So every Wednesday, for example, you post a typical recipe from your local area. That's your Wednesday pretty much done in terms of coming up with the idea. You just need to think about the recipe. Now, as we said at the beginning, you don't need to produce Hollywood style of videos as well, right? It doesn't have to be that recipe that we saw on some cooking channels. It can be still images that you take and you do as a series of Instagram stories, for example, as we see there on the image. If you don't have the chance to take those pictures, you could even use stock images for this, right? And again, that's content being created. That's content on your social media feeds, so they are not empty. So people are seeing that you're posting something, so you're active. Another good one when we're building the calendar, right? Special days. This actually, it should be one of the first things you do when you're building a social media calendar. Mark all special dates, right? There are endless lists on the internet. Just do a Google search. You're going to find so many lists of international days, special days of this and that. Find all the dates, obviously, related to travel and education. That's an easy one. Then mark them all in the calendar. And think about things that maybe are not even directly related, but you can find some sort of link to use that special day to post something, right? So today, for example, 29th of May, it's apparently a biscuit day, right? So again, you can find a video or an image of a recipe on how to bake biscuits, and that's your content of today done and ready to be published as well, right? Now, Another good one is user-generated content, right? This is probably the easiest one because you don't have to do anything, right? You simply share what other people are creating. Now, even better, of course, if they are creating content about your school. So, how many of you, right, schools directors or maybe the social media person that deals with the online marketing at the school, how many of you actually follow your own students? So you start following them, right? They could be creating amazing content about your school or about your destination where your school is that you don't even know about it. Obviously, there are certain ways that you can incentivize the students to create this content so you can share. um, there are different ways. It could be a very comprehensive contest that you do between students with a very nice giveaway, but you could simply ask, right? And you'll be amazed on the amount of people that naturally respond to something if it's done in a nice and engaging way. Now, we see that students, they have an emotional link with the school, their friends, their teachers. So usually asking them to post something, a content they create about school, about the local area. It's quite easy. Now, during lockdown now, for example, right, you could get in touch with students. Let's say you get 1,000 students from the past couple of years, you get in touch with them and ask them all to post on a Thursday using a hashtag, Throwback Thursday TBT. We're going to see this in a bit. A photo of when they were at the school to share their memories. Use a hashtag. All of a sudden, even if 10% respond, so you could have 100 posts on just one specific day of that student sharing some memories of when they were at your school. So try to use this, try to leverage, right, other people to create content for you. For schools, from our experience and what we've seen in the past, it works really well. Now, during lockdown, for example, as well, right? You could do a series of posts there. You get your past students from different countries that they could share what they're doing, back home at the moment, how they're coping with the quarantine. And in general, how they're doing. Again, it could be a nice experience in terms of the cultural differences, how different countries are doing. Interviews. This is a typical one as well from the internet in terms of how to generate content. Right now, probably some of you do already, because it can be you, it can be one of your teachers, it can be an activity leader to share some ideas about the local area, host family to talk about the hosting experience, and of course the students to talk about their experience. But try to think outside of the school circle, right? Think about other people the expertise of that person and how you can somehow connect this to the to travel and education. So let's say someone that works in an airline, for example. You could do an interview about what's going to change at airports and flights post COVID-19, right? And again, interviews, they can be, as we saw, the Hollywood style videos. Interviews can also be super complex and professionally done. They can look like a TV interview, or it could just simply be, questions and answers that you ask someone on an email. You don't need to record anything. And then you post those questions and answers on social media. Again, you could do some sort of like Instagram story series with nice stock images that represent their question and their answer for the interview. So there are many, many ways to create content without having to spend a lot of time and money. Another good thing about interviews, and I know that the focus here is about content for social media, right? But interviews is a very easy way as well to generate another type of content, which are blog articles, because you can simply do a transcript of the interview you've done, and there we go. You have a nice blog article for your website as well. So another type of content, right? This one is a little bit harder. It depends on what you've done in the past, but influencers, right? At LV, we organize a lot of social media influencer tours where we basically take an influencer from a specific country to visit schools and destinations. And then we run specific campaigns to generate brand awareness, sometimes leads. It depends on the campaign goal. But of course, during those influencer visits, they end up creating a lot of content, right? It's endless photos and videos that influencers will create when they travel and they visit your school. Again, you know, a lot of things that can be used on social media. Obviously, right now, influencers are not traveling and you couldn't have one at your school. But what about maybe if they, you know, take part in one of your online courses and also share something about it, right? Now, if you had influencers in the past, right, maybe they can repost some content that was created. You could repost content that an influencer that visited your school created in the past, right? Now, if you had influencers before, just get in touch with them. You know, maybe they will support you. Again, using hashtags like Throwback Thursday. It could be a nice thing to share and tag your school. Very likely they will support you. A lot of people are supporting each other at the moment in the difficult times we're living. Just to give us an example, recently we got in touch with one of the influencers from Brazil that we took to visit some EC language schools. And he was super supportive in terms of promoting EC's online courses. Again, you know, there was content created by the influencer on his own channels, but that the school had the chance to repost and create more content for their feed. Local area, we mentioned this in one of the examples already. And, you know, it's an easy one as well because you don't need to go very far to produce this type of content as it's your local area. You can ask students, you can see yourself where you go to eat, to drink, to party, a pub. Share those places on social media, right? As local area knowledge. We know that that's what students are looking for as well. They go there for the experience of the destination as well. And another good one that we always see here with the clients that we manage their social media is that if you tag, you know, a local business, a restaurant, a coffee shop, a pub, it's almost guaranteed at least one like or comment in that post, because it will come from them thanking you for tagging and sharing their business. Now, again, if you use this as a theme, as we mentioned in the beginning for the calendar, right? It also makes the entire thing a lot easier. Choose one day of the week, right? Mondays, for example, that you always mention a business, a local area, a tourist place that students can visit, where they can eat and, you know, get special deals and things like this. So very important. Build that, you know, within your content calendar. Your team, right? Make the most of your team. It's easy. They are there. They are your teachers, your activity leader, the people that work for you. There are so many ways to generate content with them. You could simply build a series of posts, for example. Again, it could be a theme of one of the weekdays. There you share a little bio of your teachers, highlighting who they are, their expertise, their achievements, right? A lot of things. Now, this is also a type of content that we call content for alumni, right? And content for alumni is good, although they are not our target market from the point of view of generating sales, right? So leads, bookings, and things like this. Content for alumni is good because, as we said before, the students have this emotional link, right, with the school where they studied, the period of time that they spent abroad, their teachers. So again, very likely students will engage with content when they see a picture of their teacher, right? Now, when a student, a past student, engages with this content, somehow that piece of content will be exposed to his friends. So on Facebook, for example, when you like something, right? And that is not different on Instagram or Twitter. When you like something, when you share something, your friends, they see that you shared, that you liked, that you comment on that piece of content. So content for alumni is a very good one for past students to engage with. Next one. So hyperlapses, right? They are usually very engaging videos that people like to watch because they see a lot in a very short time. Again, don't need Hollywood style videos here. A simple mobile phone will do. It can be the whole school. You can turn into a series of hyperlapses where you show different areas of the school, even students' experiences like excursions, or when they do some sort of party at the school, a breakfast with the host family, hyperlapses videos when you have someone scrolling down a social media feed, with their finger, and they see those initial 2-3 seconds of a hyperlapse. A lot of times people will stop and watch. So it's a type of content that creates very good engagement. Again, if you don't have the time to do, if you don't want to do, ask your students not only to do, but maybe to post on their social media. Students will usually be very happy that whatever they created, if they post on their social media or not, is actually being featured on the school's channels, right? On the school's social media. So that's another one that works really well, and you can get students to do instead of doing yourself. Now, we saw a lot of tips on how to create content for social media, but you can also look at your past or old content to create new content. So there's a simple rule here. So, is it evergreen content, right? If it is, then use it again. Evergreen content is that content from a year, 2-3 years ago that is still relevant. So if you're schooling New York, and in the past you wrote about sightseeing or certain things about tourist places, this doesn't change too much, right? So again, it's the type of content that you can refer back, go back on your social media feeds, look at the past, look what you posted, look even what you wrote and worked well, and you can use again. Okay. If you write articles, if you have a blog on your website, which you should, so if you don't, start looking at this. It's a great way. It's not social media too much, but it's a good way to attract organic traffic. But talking about social media with blog articles, right? It's amazing the amount of snippets that you can extract from those articles to post on social media. And there are things that are already there. So, you're going to pretty much just copy and paste a section from an article you wrote, maybe minor changes, and it's ready to go. And the very good thing about this on social media as well is that you can have a learn more call to action on that is needed, right? So driving traffic from that social media post to your website, get your traffic, get your social media audience to go and visit your website. Not only to learn more, to read more about that specific content, but also to see what you're doing, right? It's on your website that you really have the chance to show the courses you offer, what you do, have some sort of call to action, share a special offer, right? It's good to drive traffic from social media to your website. We gave few examples in the other slides about, TBT. So just go back to your social media feeds, see what worked well in the past. Now, if you're combining both, right? So past blog articles that you shared in the past and you want to share again, and they worked well, they're likely to work well again. And if you don't want to repeat, just keep the same article, but maybe change the tagline, change the image, right? Make use of those trends and hashtags like Throwback Thursday or Flashback Friday. It's another one people are using a lot now. So again, it's one of those things that you build that into your calendar for every Thursday and Friday to post something in the past. And all of a sudden, it's a lot easier just to fill the gaps on your content calendar. So that's it in terms of some tips for content. So we'll look at some social media tools now. Just before the webinar, I did a quick search here on Wikipedia for how many social media platforms are out there, and found a number, right? 166. Now, according to Wikipedia, this is the list of major active social networking websites. So I'm sure there are a lot more out there. But even if we think about only the typical social media platforms we use, right? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. It's already hard to manage them. It's too many, right? Too many profiles. The posting across platforms, I know this gets very complicated as well for a lot of schools. How you post one content that you created for Instagram on Facebook, or even worse when you're talking about Twitter, because it is a different social media platform, right? Now, managing comments, for example, when students are talking to you, they're sending you messages, they are commenting on your feed, on your content, you obviously want to respond. So jumping from one social media to the other, I know that it can be very hard. So there are social media managing tools out there. But yes, at the same time, there are a lot of social media platforms that are also a lot of social media managing tools. So too many, it's really hard to choose, right? But the important thing here is if you do decide, and as a school you should, right, for a handful of social media platforms, even if you think about just the typical ones, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's already too many. So you really need a tool to help you manage them. It will make a big difference. It will save you time. It will really help you analyze results. And when you analyze results, it's something even better, because then you can compare the performance between the different social media platforms. When we do talk about investment, that analysis, it also helps you a lot deciding where to invest most of the money. So let's say you offer a business English course, and you think that LinkedIn could be a good platform to promote your business English course. Is it really the best, right? Just because we think LinkedIn as a professional network, is it the best place to promote a business English course? Or maybe it's Facebook, Instagram, right? Now, if we have data, then we can analyze and make the right decisions. Now, we can't obviously go into detail today for all of the different social media tools that we have out there, but almost each one of them has something unique, right, that will differ one from another. So it's important that you research them and then compare for what you need, your specific goals, and then make a decision on the one that suits you better. For our clients at LV, for most of them, we use Sprout Social. It's the top one in the middle. It covers a lot of different social media platforms. It has the tools we need in terms of planning, scheduling. It provides really good reports. It's an easy one to compare performance of the same sort of content between social media platforms. But there are many others out there. So if your focus is on Instagram, for example, right? Later, the one at the bottom on the left does a very good job as well. If you wanted something a bit more complex, you know, with a built-in CRM, if you don't have one, if you don't use one, if you're going to have some sort of like comprehensive inbound marketing strategy with a lot of content online, a lot of landing pages, conversions, HubSpot is probably the one that you would use. So, you know, just sharing three of them here, we can see that they have very different features that will obviously be different for different needs, right? So just to give you one example, I have this screenshot here from Later. As I said, it's a very good one for Instagram. This is their scheduling and planning calendar, right? So just from the screenshot, we can see how powerful it is. The sort of features you get that are not native, are not from Instagram. So it works really well, right? In summary, basically, most of the social media tools here will help you with three main things. It's the cross-platform scheduling and posting. So again, you don't have to jump from one to the other. It saves a lot of time. Dealing with user engagement. So anything, it's comments, messages, a complaint maybe from a student, anything. You can deal with all the platforms from one single place. And as we said, a lot of analytics as well, a lot of data for you to understand and analyze how you're doing on different channels. It's a good way to track your content, compare those different channels. We said when we're talking about content, about reusing content, right? Those platforms, they help a lot as well in terms of you simply getting something you posted 6 months ago and then reposting. You could even schedule, right, to post again past posts with certain criteria that achieved, for example, a certain number of likes. So they do save a lot of time. Now, I don't want to leave you without an answer for this. So, if you do have a specific need for something different that you do at your school, let me know. And, based on our knowledge and the tools that we've used in the past, we can try to recommend a specific one for what you need. Now, so we've seen some good ideas on how to create content for social media channels. We saw tools to manage them, and it's now finally, time to post something, right? And show to the world, get students to engage with what you were posting. So let's have a look at reach, right? Making sure your content gets to people. It's a metric that we use a lot online. In short, it's basically how many people, right? The content you were posting, how many people it reaches. Don't get too excited. Different studies about social media algorithms show an organic reach of only 1 to 5% of your followers, right? Now, it's a very small amount. Let's understand this. So let's say, let's use Facebook as an example, right? But this could be any other platform, Instagram, Twitter, any other social media. So let's say you have 5,000 followers on your Facebook, right? You post something and Facebook will only show to about 150 students from those 5,000. That's an average from 1 to 5. That's a 3% of your followers, right? Now, how many do you think from those 150 there are alumni, plus students, staff, partners, agencies? Probably a very good percentage. Now, out of the 150 people that will see your content, how many do you think are actually potential students, right? Not many. But although a very small amount of potential students will actually see your content in a organic way when you post, that doesn't mean that your potential students are not using social media, right? They obviously are. Your students, your potential students, your potential clients are using social media. So it's just a matter of you understanding the logic, how it works, how social media platforms they distribute content, and ensure you are targeting the right audience. And how do you do that? You need to spend money to achieve certain goals on social media. Now, when it comes to money now, we know that some people had really bad experiences with this in the past, right? They maybe spent a lot of money on social media and had no results. And yes, that is possible. You know, maybe that can happen. Maybe if done the wrong way. There are many variables there. So here, we don't have time to go through a full course on different types of social media ads. Then it starts to talk about different goals, about KPIs, about metrics. It's a lot of things, right? But what you need to know, what you need to take from today in terms of spending money on social media is that you can start with a very small amount of money and actually see results. So ensure potential students are seeing your content, are seeing what you're posting, and not only, right, that 1 to 5% that we saw when we know that a percentage of that 1 to 5% are actually alumni, teachers, you know, and other people that are not potential students. We'll go through some numbers now. So if you have invested on social media ads before, you're probably familiar with what I'm going to talk about. But let's see what we can do with certain budgets, right? Let's see some numbers. Here we have some average numbers from Facebook. This obviously varies a lot between channels, if you're talking about, you know, Instagram or Twitter. But even if you think about Facebook itself, depending where the ads are placed, the audience you are targeting, different countries, there are many factors, but we'll use them as a point of reference. So two numbers we need to see there, right? 97 US dollar cents for each click, and just over $7 for 1,000 impressions. Engagement. So this could be one of our goals on social media, right? Create more engagement on what we post. Engagement is basically when a user engages with their content. So it could be likes, it could be shares, it could be comments. Obviously, for users to engage with something, right? They need to first see the content to then engage. So let's say I post 5 times a week, for example. Okay, now for weeks, that will be 20 posts per month, and I decide to spend only $5 per post. That will be $100 per month, which based on our $7 per thousand impressions, right? We get around 14,000 impressions. So in addition to that 1 to 5% of your followers that will see your content in an organic way, right? With $100 per month, just spending $5 per post, you can get your content to be impressed over 14,000 times. There are different ways to do that. You could choose to show your content to more of your own followers, or even better, when we go for paid campaigns, right? We can show to people that don't even know that your school exists, a new audience. We can target new people, people that don't necessarily follow you yet. There are different ways to qualify this audience to ensure that we are not, showing to people that are not potential students. And we can talk a little bit about audience, how we qualify audiences in a bit. Let's see in terms of conversion, right? This is another popular goal in a campaign strategy. The logic is quite simple, right? We're talking about generating leads, for example. So we have a social media ad. The user clicks in this ad. They could go to one of the pages on your website. They could go to a landing page. And there they can find a call to action, or a special offer, anything that will basically get them to fill a form. Now this generates a lead, a lead that the sales team could follow up to sell courses and things like this. So this is another one that we talk a lot with our clients. Lead generation, it's a big one, right? So generating more leads to then follow up and obviously convert those leads into bookings. So let's see what we can do with the same, $100 here. So if I get, 100 clicks on an ad, let's use an average of 10% conversion. This can be anything from, 5 to 15 to 20. We use 10 as an average here. So if a person, if I get 100 clicks on a social media ad, that will usually generate me 10 leads. So $100, for 10 leads, we have their cost of $10 per lead. So that's another one in terms of what you can get for $100 if you do a campaign with a specific goal, with that logic in mind, right? So what we just saw now, right? Those numbers from sample engagement and conversion social media campaigns, they could actually be the results of a real campaign, right? As we used some real numbers as reference. So that's what you have to do basically to see where you are with your social media ads, to ensure that you are not throwing money at something that it's not providing any sort of results. Okay, analyze, understand the numbers, understand the metrics, see the goals. So if you do have a goal for engagement, right, don't worry about how many leads that's gonna generate you, because that's not the goal of the campaign. The goal of the campaign is to generate engagement. So look at how many likes, how many comments, how many shares you got on that specific post. Now, if you are running a campaign with, a conversion goal, a leads goal, it doesn't matter how many likes or comments that specific post is getting, as long as people are clicking on it and they're going to your website and they are converting on your website. Okay. Now, as we saw with both examples here, the good news is that you can start with a very small amount of money, right? We just saw 2 sample campaigns with $100 per month that will give you results. As long as you do 2 things, right? Set that goal and metric for your campaign, right? And follow up very closely. Look at this almost every day to see if it's giving you the expected results. If it's not, then change and try again, right? Social media is a lot of A/B testing to get the ideal results. With some clients that we've been working for a long time, that we have a very optimized ideal campaign running at the moment, for example, maybe we tried 10 or 15 different ads in the past, right? Sometimes we change a very small thing. Sometimes it's just changing part of the copy. Sometimes it's skipping the copy but changing the image. So do those 2 things and you're going to see results on your social media campaigns, right? With a goal and a metric to follow up very closely. And if you do that, right, if you follow up very closely, you're going to see data, you're going to see results and act on them, analyze, and then use those results to make your social media ads better, right? When you do this, you're going to improve your confidence. That's, you know, what I think a lot of people lack on social media ads. They've only done once or twice. They don't know the platform really well. There are dozens of different ads goals when you open Facebook Manager, for example, to do ads for Facebook and Instagram. And then, you know, it's confusing. It's a lot of information. So start with a small amount, do this, and, you know, get confident. Because if you're confident, you also feel more comfortable to spend more money, right? And spending more money, you're able to reach more people. And at the very least, you're building brand awareness. You're getting more people to see your school, your brand, your courses, what you're doing. I know we're running out of time, and I want to leave, you know, a few minutes for some questions. So here are just a few things to take from today's presentation. We covered a lot of ideas on how to create content for, you know, social media channels. We saw the list of tools that are out there to help you manage the social media platforms, and that for a modest investment, we used here the example of $100. You can actually reach more people. You can try social media ads. And the important thing is that you are in control of your investment, right? And know something, you can stop at any time if that doesn't work for you. So, well, I've tried to introduce a number of tools here to help you engage more online. And, you know, it's that time that it's important for us not to distance ourselves from social media when we have to distance ourselves from people due to the current situation we are now. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. It's probably a lot for, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes, but you're welcome to ask any questions now. And I will just go back to the video and
yeah, thank you so much, Vinny. That was great. Look, so if we do have questions, you know, unmute yourself, start your video. You know, don't be shy, and fire away to Vinny if you have some questions. We do have some questions that have come through the chat box, Vinny. So if I ask those. One question is, what would you qualify as a successful organic post on Instagram? Oh, Vinny, sorry
Okay,
to stop you. Yep.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a hard one because it's too many variables there, right? Again, a good post for what, right? Now, do we want to just create engagement in that specific post? So I want to get people to comment on Instagram, for example, or I want to, you know, or that content is actually Instagram stories where I have a swipe up for people to drive traffic to my website, for example. So I think in terms of what's successful or not, we need to give a step back to this and understand our goal with that specific post. Okay. Now, if people are just looking for a number to analyze and to see their following, and on Instagram specific, we talk a lot about this because Instagram is unfortunately a social media platform that a lot of people buy followers. Okay, so if you want to access your following and see if they are qualified, if they are people that engage with your content, take that number, you know, in terms of how many people we show, how many people the social media we show your content to. So 1 to 5%. For Instagram, you can actually use 5%. It does show to a lot of people, mainly those close friends. So that person that follows you, that always like your stuff. It's the typical, you know, you open Instagram and they are there at the top. So think about your following, you know, get 5% of them and see what sort of likes, views, and comments you got on your post, and if that makes sense with that 5% of your followers. Okay. Now, I would then consider if it's good or if it's bad, if it's a sort of image that you can change. People don't care too much about copy on Instagram, but if you look at some stats and some studies on Instagram, it's again amazing the amount of people that actually, we only see pretty much a line, right? A line and a half of that Instagram copy. But the amount of people that click on the view more, right? And actually read the entire thing and really engage with the content there, it's very high. So think about giving more to the post in addition to the image, right? The image is what's going to make them stop. So they are doing this with their finger. That's when they're going to stop. Now, to keep them, you know, in your post, to engage with the post, and to, you know, perhaps get a comment out of the user, the copy can be very important as well. So it's a very hard question to answer, but hopefully, you know, I've given some ways for you to analyze your own social media.
Thank you. Another question that we've received is, can organic posts ever convert into sales?
The answer is yes. Okay. Now, again, yes, with a lot of variables, and I think with the big, it depends, right? So in one of the slides, I said a lot about understanding the logic of social media, how it works. Okay. Now, let's think about Facebook, which is a social media that people share a lot. And when you share something on Facebook, all your friends are going to see what you posted, what you shared, what you liked, what you comment. So I'll use the example of one of the tips in terms of content. Okay. Now, you post a bio of your teacher. Now, I'm a past student. I studied at your school a couple of years ago, and I see my teacher there, right? I have that emotional link. That person was my teacher for 6 months if I studied there for 24 weeks. And then I go and make a comment I like. Now, a lot of my friends are going to see that I liked or that I made a comment to that post. Is one of them interested in studying abroad? Maybe, right? Maybe they will click, they will follow up, they will see the school. So can organic reach of a post turn into sales? Yes. You know, now what are the chances and how you optimize that? Spending money, right? I know that then it's not organic, but then it's making sure that you're not giving just a chance for that post to be shown to potential students. When you segment the audience you want to show your content to, obviously they're going to be seen by real potential students.
Yeah. A final question we've got here is, how do you create an engaging post for an online program?
Okay, now I think the past 4-6 weeks, a lot of clients we spoke to, past clients, so clients that have been working with us for a long time for the in-country programs that are now offering online. We spoke to a lot of people. It's not an easy one, and when I say it's not an easy one, it's because a lot of schools have just now started to offer online programs when there are out there other companies offering online programs for 10, 15, 20 years, right? Before, a student would choose to go to, I don't know, Cork in Ireland to study English because they want to go to Cork. Obviously, there are, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 different schools in Cork, and they need to choose between those 5, 10 schools, right? Now, when you're offering an online course, you are not competing just, with the schools from your city or your country. You're competing with the world. So creating a social media ad to promote your online course to an audience, I see here 2 main different ways, okay? Two different approaches. One is price. So let's say, you have a very good price for your online course. Just make sure that students are seeing, and then you get into, yes, it is a price war for online courses. There are courses out there that you pay cents per week. And I know that a lot of schools are not offering this type of courses. They have live classes. So try to show as well, I'm not even going to call unique selling points because they are not unique, but just show your selling points. Just show what your course offers, right? The features. Now, a different approach, right, would be not to promote your online courses to the entire world because competition is really hard, but maybe promote your courses to that audience, to that group of people that would actually go to your school. And can you combine this, with an offer that they pay now to do the online course and they get part of what they're paying as a credit to go physically to your school later, okay? So maybe creating an ad, again, then it's not much about the actual ad, but it's about the audience that you show your ad to, right? If we're able to tap into that group of students that would usually come to your school because they are interested in your location, in what you offer, I think it will be a lot easier to sell them your online course instead of competing to many other online course providers.
Thank you. So unless we have any other further questions, we will finish there for today. So last opportunity, if you do have a question, just to unmute yourself and ask away. Okay, so we'll finish there. So Vinny, thanks so much again for your time and for all of the IALC members that joined us this afternoon. And we really do appreciate all of the expertise and insight you've given us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for everyone that participated.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And this video will be available on the member zone from next Monday. So thanks very much. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.